Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast. I'm Anne Alvares, parent coach, school counselor, and mother of two. Do you sometimes struggle with your parenting role? Do you notice that sometimes you're repeating patterns that you learned in your own childhood? Maybe you are carrying childhood pain that has not been healed, and you notice that it is showing up in your parenting with your own children. Perhaps you yell or get frustrated easily. Maybe you are directing them or telling them what to do all the time, and you notice that your actions are affecting your relationship with your children. Well, parents, I totally understand this. I came from childhood pain and I learned how to be a relational parent with my children. And I can teach this to you as well. This podcast is all about learning how to heal the childhood pain that we are carrying so that we can foster healthy relationships with our kids. Join us every week for a new show, and we will dive into the healing and the fostering of healthy relationships with our children. Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast and Show. This is our part three of the Teen and Toddler series, and I have my favorite coach from India, Anjali Cchopra. She is here, and we are going to dive into our third topic for teens and toddlers, and that is socialization. How do we socialize our kids? This is a big topic. Hey, Anjali, lots of
Yes,
parents have questions like my kid hits another kid, or um, they're not nice to each other on social media. I hear that a lot. So let's dive in. What would you say to parents of toddlers, the early stages? How do we socialize our children?
so first of all, as I in every of our podcast, I say that they have just entered into our zone, our earth, the place they are into, and this is a very new place for them. Let's consider it like that. And they have come with their own personalities, like maybe some DNA from their grandparents too, right? We can't pinpoint anything when they are very young, so we have to just observe them and give them that environment where they can explore themselves, and we have to be very very patient with them. We can't actually think that they should be doing like this because we do it like this.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I like that you
if
said to
any of
observe them.
Yeah, if any of
Yeah.
our friends are coming to our home and we want them to interact with them there and then and wish them good morning or any thing, we tell them, okay, do this. So there is a thing when we are actually telling them something, they have to think and process it also. So we need to have
Yes.
that patience of giving them that processing time,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And there are kids who are very shy. Shy doesn't actually mean that they don't want to interact. Maybe they are observing people, whether they are feeling comfortable in their presence or not.
Mhm.
So, how the environment is changing while the guest is at house. So, all these things, if we keep in mind, we get into that zone. Okay, my child will be okay and will be comfortably sitting with the guest, or maybe not sitting with the guest is also okay with me.
Right. Right. So, like, basically, you're saying we need to relax as parents and not get so worried if our children are shy or if they don't want to say hello or talk to
Right,
somebody, right? Like
right,
we have to be calm about it. We don't want to make them anxious and get uptight ourselves about it or get angry about it, right? So, and you said, I like what you said about observing our children because our children come already, they have some of their personality traits already, right? When they're little. You know if
right.
they're a talker, right? Or they're very, very shy, or sometimes they just go through stages of shyness too. But I like how you said that we have to. we have to just relax and not get worried about it, right? And then
Right.
what about parents themselves? Like what can they do to encourage their toddler to talk or to say hello or to I don't know, say a few more words? What do you think parents can do besides
So
observing? Besides observing.
parents can just be the role model, and children are going to reflect everything back.
I
Maybe
love
not
that.
everything. Be ready
Yeah.
for that also. Maybe not everything. If a parent is very outgoing and want to spend time with friends, doesn't really mean that the child is also the same.
Yes.
But yes, we can do some, we can take few steps. Like we can be very welcoming to the guest, like how
Mhm.
we show our energy to the guest. We should not never forget the child is also observing.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe the child is not very welcoming to the adults, but very welcoming to the kids. They have their own
Yeah.
choices, right? Respecting
Mhm.
their boundaries and respecting their choices, we can give them that free hand. Okay, we
Yeah.
are giving them a way how to interact with their peers.
Yes. Yes. And just because your baby, your toddler is shy, doesn't mean they'll always be shy, right?
Oh no, these are all phases. They will come and go and will come again during teenage time. We know
Yeah.
that.
Yes,
So
exactly.
sometimes we say toddlers and teenagers are same. So it happens like the same patterns we see in toddlers, we see the same patterns in teenagers also. That's why we
It's
started this podcast.
yes. Yes, it
Yeah,
is so true that they go through these phases and
right.
we have to just we have to chill out. We have to relax about it, right? I was thinking about my oldest son. He's 25 now. But when he was little, he was very, very shy and he didn't talk much at all. And he was an introvert, right? An introverted kid. He liked time alone. He didn't like to have kids over. He's like, Mom, I saw them all week at school. Why do I have to see them again on the weekend? He would be like, No, Mom, I don't want to see any friends. And I was like, Okay. But when I was a little bit worried about him, I thought, Oh, is this how he's going to be? But as he grew into adulthood, when he started working, when he started working, that's when he learned how to socialize, like in the workforce, because you actually have to talk to customers, right? When you're serving them.
Right.
And that's what he was doing. He was talking to customers, quite well-off customers, because it was a high-end golf club. And so he learned and gained so much confidence from that job. That's why I'm saying, parents, we have to just relax because now is not forever, and our kids are
Right.
constantly growing and changing and surprising us, right?
Right. Right.
So
So
that's
Helen,
like,
and I just felt that I should also share my son's toddler time and
yes,
how he was as a toddler and how he is right now as an adult. So, as a toddler, he used to be a very kinesthetic child who could never sit at one place. He was a very kinesthetic child. Okay. So, even people around us used to tell us that why don't he sit at one place? And believe me, I was a mother who never used to pay that much attention. Yes, definitely, I used to tell him that how we behave in front of everyone, that behavior, because see, even if we are going to anyone's house also, so how to sit on sofa? What all things you need to take care of that you don't spoil all those things. If you want to put in your energy, you can play outside. That is one thing. Channelizing the energy at the right place. That is
mhm,
important because toddler will be toddler. You have to see how you can channelize that energy, right? So I think
exactly.
I had that leverage of being a teacher, and then I was growing with him as a mother too. So now, as an adult, when I see a kinesthetic child is now into data analysis, so which requires a lot of concentration.
Mhm.
So the right kind of environment was imposed on that area where you have to go out in the playground and play for as many hours as you want. Because I know after that he'll be focused on his stuff,
Mhm.
right? And he, for his entire school college time, he was a sportsman. He is a sportsman right now also. But those sports were very helpful for him to channelize that full energy at one place and then focus on the things which are required. Maybe he'll require very little time to study, but with full focus. So when we
Mhm.
actually understand what is the requirement of a child as a toddler, how to channelize it, then the things are sorted.
Yes, exactly. That's why I think that's why you said to observe your child because, some toddlers, they have a lot of energy and they move around a lot, and it's hard for them to sit still at the dinner table. Actually, it is
Right,
really hard for toddlers to sit at the dinner table. But we can still teach them. We can still say, try to sit for a few minutes or say thank you, say please. I think you have to start that early. Starting the manners early is really important, right? Say thank
right,
you, say hello.
right,
When they're
right,
little, they'll be like, hello. They'll do it automatically because they'll see you do it. And then you can
right,
remind them, right? You can remind them about that. I think it's easier
right,
actually with toddlers. The socialization piece can be a bit easier,
right.
except that they do get, sometimes they get clingy. They want to be with mommy or daddy, right? Because they're scared. But that's normal.
That's normal, yes. It's us only as parents, we think a lot.
Mhm.
The trouble arises when we think a lot what the other people will think, how my child is behaving. This is not the right way. There is nothing called right or wrong. There is a way, and we have to set it according to the comfort of everyone,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So if
yes,
the child, like I gave one example, if the child is very kinesthetic and not sitting at one place, channelize that energy. But
yes,
yes, like how you said, you have to teach manners, how
yeah,
you have to take care. We can always tell our kids how you have to take care of the stuff lying around. If we are going to anyone's house,
yes,
we can't break that. And with
yes,
that, how to do it, that is again equally important, because telling them is not sufficient. We have
yes,
to ask them few queries. How will you
yeah,
find if someone breaks your toy or the flower vase we have in this room? How will you feel?
yes,
Definitely, the child will say, I will not feel good, I'll feel angry, or something like this.
yeah,
And then we can guide them in the same way. We are going to someone else's place, and we have to take care that we don't break anything, we don't
yes,
spoil anything at their house.
hmm,
So this is how correlation can happen. Like they are
yes,
understanding that I am doing the same stuff which I want for myself.
yeah. And we can't expect them to know everything. Like when they go to someone's house and they've played with the toys and the toys are a mess, you know, when they're toddlers, you can say, okay, let's clean up before we go home. And then you can actually clean up with them because
Right,
now you're actually taking that moment to teach them, right? And so then when they get older, they will know, oh, when I go to my friend's house, I'm going to help clean up after we play, right? It'll be just
right,
automatic, right?
right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
I
think
know.
we have two steps now. One is preparing before going to anyone's place, and the second is when we are there at the place, and
Mhm.
then the things are sorted. Like we are training them for that socialization. So these
Yeah,
two steps will be, I think,
yes.
very fruitful for our audience also.
Right, right. Okay, good. So, okay, let's move on to teens. I know with teens, it's challenging because of the stage of development that they're in. Like if they have had friends along their journey and then they go into high school and they keep some of those friends. Sometimes the friendships work out, sometimes they don't, right? But um, they can be very suspicious. Yeah, they can be a little bit suspicious of other people. And then also they're in a stage where they're very self-conscious. So, like, I know my youngest son, he's always concerned about his hair. Mom, does my hair look good? Things like that, right? This is normal teenage development. They get very concerned about how they appear to other people, right? Which is okay, which is totally fine, right? But the thing is that you don't want them to lose themselves in trying to fit in with others. And you also want to make sure that the friends that they have are good people, right? I don't know. I always say to parents, you have to know your children's friends because if you don't know their friends, then you can't protect them, right?
Right.
And part
Right.
of the social piece with teenagers is the peer pressure. They can be a totally good kid, but if they're exposed to a friend who is peer pressuring them, then they may end up vaping or doing something you don't want them to do, right? So that's why it's so important to know their friends, have their friends come to your house. Like bring them along. I haven't met them. I don't know them. I remember my oldest, he wanted to go on a bike ride with his friend, but I didn't know his friend. So I was like, no, you're not going on a bike ride with a friend that I don't know. Can you bring him to the house? And he did. He brought him to the house. I met him and I was totally fine. Once I met him, my fears were eased, right? And I think so that's a really key part. And also sometimes our teens may forget manners. So it's okay to remind your teen. Oh, remember to say please, remember to say thank you. Remember when you're in someone's house that you offer to help clean up, right? Like you had dinner at Roger's house, did you help clean up? You know, that sort of thing. I think is okay to remind them. But I like what you said about how we're the role models because we're still the role models even when they're teenagers, right? So when we are socializing in a kind, respectful way, when we go to family dinner with our kids, we try and help the host clean up, right? Tidy up. We remind the children to tidy up. And then we say thank you. We're gracious, right? We're grateful. So I think all of that is key. Um, when there's unhealthy friendships, I talk a lot about this to teenagers because sometimes they have unhealthy friendships.
Right.
And they'll say, my friend won't talk to me anymore because I'm friends with so and so. And I said, okay, but friendship is not ownership. When you have a friend, they don't own you. You can be friends with anyone you want to. And it's not healthy if somebody is trying to control you in a friendship, right? And also, if they talk behind your back, gossiping. This happens a lot with teens. Um, is that healthy? Do you want a friend that's talking about you behind your back? Like, wouldn't it be better if the friend talked to you? Wouldn't it be better if the friend said to you what was the problem? And a lot of times when I'm doing my counseling with teenagers, I bring them together and I say, you need to talk to each other. Do not spread gossip about other people. Deal directly with the person that you're having the problem with, because that's how you can solve the problem. You can't solve the problem talking to everybody else about that person, right? So that we can do as parents too. We have to make sure that we are keeping our children being healthy with their friends, you know? Say, if they complain about a friend, oh, so and so is this, then you can say, why don't you talk to your friend about it? Why don't you tell him how you feel? Tell her how you feel about it. See what they
Right.
say, right? Or
Right.
if there's a misunderstanding, maybe ask, oh, you didn't invite me to the party. How come? Right? Like just be honest and open because friendships are supposed to be honest and open. And you should be able to talk to your friend about anything if it's a true friendship, right? So I talk to them about what real friendships are and what's not a real friendship, because
Right, right,
a friend that makes you do something that gets you in trouble, a friend that makes you do something that's unsafe is not a friend.
right,
So I think it's so important we as parents need to teach that to our children that a friend is always going to think what's best for you. Otherwise, they're not a real friend, right? So those are like some of the lessons. And as we're getting them ready for work, then we have to teach them the social parts, which is get to work on time, make sure you're working and you don't have your phone out, right? Keep your phone away. When they're socializing, keep your phone away, talk to your friends, you know, that sort of thing. It helps now in Canada, they don't allow cell phones to be used during school time. And
good.
actually that's made a huge difference with our kids because now our kids are talking to each other, right? Like, and they're listening to the teacher. So the social part with phones is really important. And in my own family, when we have dinner together, our phones are put away. We do not have our phones out because it's our time to connect. It's our time to
Right.
talk to each other, right? That's part of
Yeah, and screen
socialization.
time is actually taking the entire social life, and social life we don't actually confined to only friends. Social life is connecting with others like family members and one's own self too. So we
Mhm.
are a part of this society. What we want from our life, that is equally our responsibility. And when we are actually engaged into phone 24 by 7, how can we even think about our own selves?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What is good for me, or what I'm not liking, or what I want to change. All these things come when we are disconnected from the outer world and we sit with our own selves, maybe for journaling or sitting just like that, having a cup of coffee
Yes.
without phone,
Yes.
without screen.
Yes. Yes. I think like what you said before, we have to be the role models. So, I mean, honestly, my kids will call me out on if I have my phone out, they're like, Mom, put your phone away. We're having dinner or we're having lunch. And I'll be, oh yeah, you know,
So
but
I have
but
also kept one time for me where I'm not utilizing my phone most of the time, and sometimes I leave my phone. Like if I have to go to my garden to take my dog for a walk, I just leave my phone at home. Even if I have to call someone, my husband's phone is there. So in this way, we are just having one phone with us, which sometimes it lies in the car too, so that we are connecting with the nature where we have come to, or we are just talking to other dogs who are coming to
yes,
meet our dog.
mhm,
So we are interacting with them too, and this is a very beautiful feeling, like connecting to the nature too. When we are
yes,
actually present, then only we are connecting. If we are not present, if we are just digging into the messages which we have received the entire day, it can wait for 1 hour. It's okay.
yes, yeah.
Some
We
time for you nurturing yourself. That is important.
yes, yes. Disconnecting is actually self-care. When
Right.
you disconnect, you're actually taking care of yourself, right? Because you can get so bombarded with emails, messages, social media, right? And then you're not living in the moment. You're not
That
savoring the moment, or like you said, nature, going for a walk and that sort of thing. It's so funny because my youngest son, we went for a nice walk yesterday with um, my friend and her son. Our sons they have been friends since preschool, and we are friends. So we all decided to go for a walk together, and we had a really great time, really fun. But when we got home, my youngest said to me, Mom, I really like this friend. I don't want to say his name, but I really like this friend. We can talk and talk. And not once did he take out his phone. Whereas my other friends, I'm talking to them and they're on their phones. And I said, "Oh, so you see the difference, right?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, then this is a good friend." Right?
Right.
This is a keeper, this friend. And he agreed. But I'm so proud of him that he noticed that and that he understood that connection piece. I think when you were modeling connection with our kids, they will notice when other people are disconnected, right?
Right.
And so that's the good thing about our parenting journey is that we are constantly connecting with them. That then they long for connection with other people too, not just us. So it's a good lesson, parents. When the kids are together, say there's a time when you put your phones away and just talk or play a game. Take out a board game, right? Take out the football. Like do something together. So everybody is savoring the
Once
moment.
actually we set our mind to something that this is one time where I'm not utilizing my food. One thing is definitely food. Food is the energy we are giving to our body. And when we are actually utilizing that body or our brain or our eyes to grab something which is not giving us that energy, which is required, actually required for our health, then we are wasting that energy, right? So we are
Mhm.
constantly on phone and not absorbing the real food which is required in our body. Our
Yes.
body is
Exactly.
always listening to us and it's always absorbing what we are giving it.
Yes,
This
exactly.
one basic time, I really feel that that is the best time where we can just put our phones off and
Yes.
sometime in the day, maybe 1 hour or something for us and our kids. If we
Yes.
start doing it with very small steps, one step at a time, it's not
Yes.
very tough.
Yes. And delay the access to technology. Like my
Right.
kids didn't have phones till they were older, like probably 11, 10 or 11 was my youngest. And then yeah, I see both of them are around 10 or 11. And it was mainly for me because I wanted to make sure they were safe so I can message them. But yeah, I think if you can delay it, that is really, really good because they actually, when they're young, they really long for connection. So we need to take that time as sacred, and
Yeah.
connect with
So
them
there
as
we
much.
can always go back to our childhood and understand how our parents used to be very calm.
Yes.
Somewhere they never had any access to this kind of technology. And
Mhm.
it was a way better life, I believe.
Yeah, sometimes it was simpler, right? And
And
simple
when
is
we get
good.
that impulse of calling our kids any time, we can always go back to that time for some time and come
Yes.
back to the right
Yes.
moment.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah, and
exactly.
share our experiences with our kids, how we used to live our life when we were kids.
Yes.
That is equally one very good exercise what we can do with our kids. And sometimes we never know. Kids love some of our activities or some of our time which we have lived,
True.
and then they want to replicate it.
Yes. Yes. They
So
might want to
sharing
try
our,
the things that we
yeah,
did. Yeah,
yes.
for sure. For sure. Ah,
So this
so
is
good,
another,
Anjali.
right
So
from
good.
toddlers, teens, I think this is the best exercise what we can do, sharing our childhood memories with them.
I agree. I agree. They want to know about us. So
Yes,
they shouldn't, your children should know you, who you
yes.
are, right? So, and how do they do that? They only know you when you share about yourself, what it was like for you. So I think that is
Yeah,
so
so one of my favorite part used to be when I used to tell my own mistakes to my kid by laughing on them. Okay, it's okay to make mistakes because this is a part of our journey.
yes.
So when we are giving these indirect messages, they are already seeding in their brains. Yes, it is okay to make mistakes. This is a part of our journey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you can say it to your kids.
Can
Oh,
be
I
wrong.
was,
We can be
yes,
wrong. We can make mistakes,
yes,
which could be learning stepping stones. Also, they are not
yes,
mistakes. Actually, we are learning and doing and learning and doing.
I agree. They're only lessons. There's no mistakes. There's only
Yeah,
lessons. Yeah,
yes.
I agree with you. Oh, so good. Okay, Anjali, I'm going to do a quick recap for parents, okay? And then maybe you can share how parents can find you as well. Okay, so the recap for toddlers, Anjali said, we are the role models. We're the role models for teens and toddlers, honestly, when it comes to socialization. And we have to model it, and then we have to teach it to them. And we can expose our kids to social situations, but we have to observe our children and not force things
Right.
because our kids need to feel comfortable and safe. And when we're forcing them, they're not going to feel comfortable or safe. So we have to observe them. If they're shy, it's okay. You know, if they're really active, it's okay, right? We
Right.
accept our children the way they are, and we don't try to force things, but we can encourage them. We can teach them manners. We can say thank you, say hello. You know, we can teach them to help clean up when they're visiting someone's house. You know, we can model it and we can teach them. Those are so really, really important times. And then with the teenage years, we need to teach our kids what are healthy friendships so that they don't fall into the trap of peer pressure. Our We need to give them the message that friends always look after your best interests and will not
Right.
lead you to harm. Okay. Uh, and then we have to be patient with them also because they do go through stages. They become very self-conscious, um, and they want to fit in. So we just have to allow them. We have to give them space. We have to build up their confidence. And then we have to also teach them about, again, continuing manners, and the values that we have. Time to connect, put your phone away. When you have your friends over, maybe we can play a game, do something with them that connects with them, live in that moment instead of losing time to devices. Is that
Right.
good, Anjali? Did I forget anything?
I think we covered everything.
Okay, good, good. Okay, tell parents where they can find you.
So they can always find me on my website. We will be sharing the details in the
Yes,
captions,
yes,
right?
yes. In my podcast notes, there will be Anjali's links so you can connect with her parents.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much, Anjali. That was so
Thank you
good. The
so much.
parent toddler
Thank.
series.
Yeah, we did one. And if parents have any other queries, if they want any other topic to be taken, they are free to comment down below. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yes, parents, if there's any topics that you want us to cover, feel free to let us know and we can do that. That'd be excellent. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Anjali. Thank you, parents. We will see you
Much,
next
Anne.
time.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Thank you, parents, for joining the show today. I hope it was valuable and that you have some useful tools to use with your children. If this show blessed you or changed you in any way, I would appreciate a review on my podcast, or subscribe to my YouTube channel, or perhaps you could even recommend our masterful parenting to your family and friends. Thank you so much, parents.